What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and today we're back with another episode of Taming Torghast, where I go over one of the many end bosses of Torghast in under 3 minutes. Today we'll be fighting Custodian Thonar. As a quick heads up, if you need further help with this info or any other questions about this video or other ones, then you can contact me in a comment below, or swing by my community Discord for advice or just a chit chat with myself and other viewers. Thonar has 3 moves and an extremely beefy auto attack, so I highly recommend buying some Blinding Smoke capsules if you come across them from any of the brokers in your Torghast run. His main move is Noxious Cloud. This will put a green splotch on the ground that lasts for 45 seconds and gets larger over time. And by larger, I mean it gets really frickin' big. It will also slow you if you stand in it, and it does ticking nature damage. A good way to minimize the amount of floor space you lose to this ability is by kiting him around the edges of the room or the platform you encounter him on, as he can spawn at a couple different wings of Torghast. Also, these puddles do despawn eventually, so it might look kinda sketchy at first with how huge these puddles can be, but just keep moving him slowly around the room and you should be fine. He'll also cast Meathook, which is a 2-second cast with a 60-yard range. If he casts this ability, it will yank you to him and stun you for a couple seconds. This is interruptible, and Thonar can be CC'd as well, so any fears, knockbacks, stuns, or incapacitating effects you have can stop the cast. Interestingly enough, Meathook is considered a shadow damage spell, so magic immunities will stop the cast from yanking you in, which is kinda cool to know. The hook itself doesn't do damage when it hits you, but since most likely he's standing in a Noxious Cloud cast, since he's really slow to move, and his melee attacks hit pretty hard, this is a high priority cast to stop or interrupt. Lastly, he'll occasionally activate a buff called Thorns Shell. This lasts 10 seconds and reduces his movement speed by 75%, but causes him to take reduced damage and reflect some damage back as shadow damage to any player who hits him while the buff is active. On this layer 8 run, he was reducing damage dealt by about 1300 and reflecting about 700 back. So while it does hurt a little bit to DPS him during this, if you have decent self-healing, then you should be fine to keep pummeling at him, and if you have magic immunities, then that will stop the thorn damage being reflected back. If you don't, then just move away from the boss, heal yourself up, and wait for your cooldowns to come back so you can burst him again once Thorns Shell falls off. Like all Torghast bosses, Thonar has access to the Unnatural Power buff, which increases his damage and movement speed by 10% for every stack he gets, and he'll get a stack every 10 or so seconds, so it is a little bit of a race against time. I hope this little guide on Custodian Thonar proves helpful to you, and if so, maybe consider leaving a comment or a like, and if you know any other folks that might find this information useful, then sharing the videos is a huge help to the channel's growth. As always, I greatly appreciate all of my regular viewers, commenters, subscribers, and especially my patrons, who all help make these Shiba Shenanigans possible. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.